Hello friends, the agenda for today's session is time and territory management. You as a sales manager need to manage a team of 5, 6, 7, 8 or up to 1,000 people once you are in a bigger role and looking after this entire India as your territory. But a particular market, for a good coverage of the territory, looking at the market potential as well as the sales potential, this is a big territory need to be categorized or need to be classified into a smaller segments, and each and every segment which can be termed as a territory, and each and every territory which has been assigned to an individual as a sales executive or a sales manager. So as we have already discussed in a organizational structures and a hierarchy like that, where there is a team of this 5, 6 individuals, those who work into a territory independently, and there is a supervisor who looks after, control them, monitor them, and it could be the size of this 4 individuals, it could be the size of 5, 6, 7, depends on this what is the policy and structure of that particular organization. Why territories are required? What is the reasons to have a particular territory? What are the reasons not to have a particular territory? What are the different signs of this territory revisions? And what are the salesperson's time consumption patterns? What is this ROTI? ROTI, it is not bread I am talking about. It's a ROTI means return on time invested. Time need to be used cautiously, time need to be optimized, because time is money. We will discuss later on sometime that how that time is money can be proved. And once I am talking about the ROTI, return on time invested, of this each and every salesperson, we also need to understand that how that ROTI can be measured. So we'll also look at this, what is the ROTI as well as how that ROTI can be measured. We'll also see this, what is the Parkinson's law and how it is useful in time and territory decisions. And one more thing, later on in the last phase of today's session, we will talk about this routing issues, because territory need to be covered, and once you are covering a territory, you need to have this tour plan, and how that each and every potential market, each and every potential customer need to be covered at what particular frequency. Then what are the different time lags where this a salesperson trapped and time spent over those kind of the activities which is not productive one, as well as we will also look at this what is the benefits of this routing. So these are this different topics which we are going to discuss in today's session. So to begin with this, why we need to have this territories. So reasons to have this territories, we can say that first is to enhance the market coverage. Enhancing the market coverage, say this particular territory is having certain sales potential. So accordingly, that entire territory need to be covered, and for this coverage, you need to look at what is the workload of an individual to cover that particular territory, so that all the potential clients, all the potential prospects, all the potential sub-market must be covered at a given frequency. Second is minimizing this selling cost, because once you are optimizing this each and every minute of your salesperson, each and every hour of your salesperson, each and every day of your salesperson, each and every week of your salesperson, each and every month of your salesperson, each and every quarter of your salesperson, it is obvious that you are somewhere somehow converting that time into the money. Then strengthening the customer relations, because once you are visiting your prospects, your existing clients as well as your prospective clients, it is obvious that somewhere somehow you are strengthening the relationship with them, and that relationship can be further converted into the business. So these are certain reasons which we are talking about. Other than that, you need to build a more effective sales force, and building a more effective sales force, and that's why you need to have a very clear-cut defined territories, so that individuals, those who are working into that, they should have this 100% control on their sales territories. And sales territories, if you talk about in terms of this, what exactly is the term by which a sales territory can be defined? Sales territory is a set of these customers, individuals into a given this geography, which each and every prospect who is having potential to sell your product, that must be covered, and that set of this individual customers as the markets, if you put together, that is that particular territory can be covered, that particular unit of this geography, that particular unit of this individual prospective clients can be termed as territory. So another reason for this having this territory is the sales coverage of that particular territory, as well as according to the sales potential of that particular market. So these are the certain reasons for this covering this sales territory. What are the different signs of this revising this particular territory? So you need to look at this, what are the different times when you to revise a particular, because at one point of time you have defined that, categorized this particular geography, this particular set of the market, this particular set of this customers, and they need to be covered. But later on you have found that that particular territory, one particular salesperson, it becomes easy for him to cover that market in a given time frame. Say this total number of the working days in a month is 25 days. So he might be quite reluctant, he might be having this much of the time to cover that territory, and that's why he is sitting idle, and his productive time is not being utilized. Whereas at another point of time, a particular salesperson who is roaming here and there, and every time, because of this widespread geographical territory, as well as it is difficult to reach different markets, these are the remote markets, this public transport is not available, and that's a lot of the time which is consumed into certain kind of this aspects, and that's why he is not having that much of time to cover this entire territory. So he is having less of time, and that's why unable to cover that each and every market as well as each and every customer. So these are the reasons for this, that territory need to be revised. Territory revisions may necessary when one salesperson may jump into this another territory. Say this one particular territory, the kind of this targets which has been assigned to him, and he found that I am unable to achieve that sales figures because this my territory is having lack of this sales potential, and that uniformly that sales potential is not being distributed. So again you need to revise that particular territory. So these are the certain signs of this territory revisions. Now looking at this, what is ROTI, as well as this how to measure that ROTI. So ROTI, as I said earlier, that ROTI is a return on time invested, because time is money, and salesperson say this, what are the productive hours of any individual salesperson who is working into the territory. If you look at this, one has to start at this 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning, and by lunch time, that 3 o'clock, this most of this productive time it is over. So he is having this hardly this 5, 6, 7 hours in his hand, so that at what time that he can meet this all this prospective clients as well as the existing clients. And that too, he also need to look at this all the channel partners, their indirect sales person. He also need to look at the competition, their activities. So this is all that is expected from a salesperson, and how to measure it, because you are not having certain kind of this plans by which you can monitor them, because they are into the field. They are not coming into the office and there is a punch time and there is a exit time. So check-in, check-out time, how it can be measured. So this obvious, this technology that is quite helpful, as well as if you are having certain kind of this plans which are chalked out, like this tour plan, as well as this particular territory. Suppose one has to cover that particular patch of this market, one has to go for this X station on that particular day according to the tour plan, as well as he need to go for this south station for 2 or 3, 4 number of the days, and he is going for this joint call or he is going for this independent call. So that is all being structured, and in advance it has been submitted by that particular salespersons. So by this way you can look at this entire territory is being covered, each and existing potential market, each and every existing client which has been covered in a given frequency, which is being decided by this the top management of the company. Looking at this potential of the market, looking at the potential of that particular customer, accordingly frequency will be set. So these are the certain kind of this measurement of this return on time invested, and obvious this technology is quite helpful. Otherwise this real time reporting system that may also work. So you must have seen that most of the individuals, when they are completing this call, immediately they need to submit after every 2 hours, after 1 hour, that this particular client I have met, and what was this particular feedback of that particular client or that particular business call which I have met. Otherwise, in the evening, once you are call it a day, you need to submit a detailed report online, and once that report is not being submitted, it is obvious that in consecutive 3 days you are unable to do that, your password will be blocked, and ultimately you again send a request to generate a new password, and ultimately it may also affect that if you are not adhering to this reporting system, and your expenses might be blocked or your expenses might be delayed. So that is a kind of this punishment which is being passed on by the salesperson. So this reporting is like a newspaper. Reporting is like a newspaper for a sales manager, because what is happening into the territory, it can only be measured by this what you are reporting into the system. So daily reporting, which is sacrosanct for any sales team, and that this each and every kind of this information, observations, feedbacks that need to be reported on a daily day-to-day basis. So that was this ROTI we were talking about. Now this one more concept, as I said, that which is more useful, that is the Parkinson's law. What Parkinson said about this, the management of this time. We often observe that work tends to expand to fill into the time that is allotted to this completion. What I mean to say, that what Parkinson said, better I will say, that suppose I have given you this time slot that this assignment need to be submitted once in after a week, 7 days. Then what you will do? You will wait for the 7th day, and accordingly you will work on that particular assignment, and at the last minute we are going to submit that. If I would have said that this assignment has to be submitted tomorrow, accordingly you will act and you will submit it. So what it means, that works tend to expand to fit into the time that is allocated to that completion of that particular. So it is very important. What Parkinson said is very important in managing this territories or designing this territory decisions. Another rule, 80-20 rule. 80-20 rule, which is given by this Pareto, that 80% of the business comes from the 20% of the customers, and rest 80% of this business comes from this 20% of the business comes from the rest of the 80% of the customers. So while 80% of the business coming from 20% of the customers, one has to look at this, who are that 20% of the customers, and that need to be given more attention while covering that particular territory. So in terms of putting up the frequency of meeting your prospective clients, meeting your existing clients, you need to look at what is the sales potential they are having and how much of this business you are getting from of the available sales potential. So it is obvious those who are more potential, those who are more potential towards your products, more potential towards your offerings, you need to meet them so many times. More than that, this individuals, those who are having this less of this potential. Now coming to this routing issues. Routing issues, this like covering how that territory can be covered. So territory coverage in terms of, say this, if you are looking after this Bombay region, and you are located in Bombay and you need to cover this entire. So what is the geography of this Bombay? Geography of the Bombay is like that it is more of this linear in nature. Linear in nature, that at one end there is a Mumbai Central, and at another there is a Karjat. So it means that Mumbai is structured in such a way, like there is this western track, there is a track that is towards that central harbor track, and that one more track. So like these three tracks and how it is going to be covered. So definitely you need to look at what is the geography of the territory. Optimistically, you can design this Deer tour plan so that he can save much of the time and cover this more number of the clients in a day. So say like if you take this another example, if a territory which is larger in geography and you are covering a particular territory like Lucknow. So Lucknow, and you are also covering from Lucknow like this Sitapur, you are covering Faizabad, you are covering Raebareli, you are covering Unnao, you are also covering Barabanki, then how that territory need to be covered. So territory coverage could be this linear in nature, territory coverage could be circular in nature, territory coverage could be in this clover leaf. Clover leaf means like there's a flower which is having this leaves. So like territory coverage like this, I am going like this, covering this and coming to this. Again I am going to this another patch and I have covered like this. I am going to third patch, I am going and covering like this. So this is this clover leaf kind of this territory coverage, and that is being designed in terms of this the most effective utilization of the time as well as the effort of this individual salesperson. So these are these benefits once you are designing this territory and you are getting from this entire this territory management. So time and territory management for this effective utilization of the efforts, effective utilization of the time of an individual salesperson, and that too controlling this return on this time invested, because time is money.